Hi, this is Bridget Mina, and this is another great episode of ETX Rocks featuring Miss Jane.
From the unknown to the stars, from the couch to the car, from the unheralded and the unheard, to the legends and beyond, it's where we all belong. Yes, this is where it all starts. From every genre, from every plane, this is where the music's played. So tune right in, won't you bring a friend? This is where it all begins. Welcome to the show, let the music flow of every style and creed. And you can bet your socks that ETX rocks, ETX rocks.
Hey guys, Boston Chris here, and you're tuned in to the #1 resource for independent music in Northeast Texas. It's episode 279 of the ETX ROCKS Show. I want to thank you guys for tuning in today. I also want to point out, if you're out there listening on iTunes or Google Play or Spotify, we're also located over on YouTube in live high-definition video. So if you're one of those people that wants to see what's going on, head over to YouTube. Of course, you probably couldn't see my hand gesture there, but that's okay. Not if they're listening to audio. Today on the show, we have a huge treat for y'all. It's Miss Jane from right here in the Longview area, the 903, and they're going to play a few songs for us today, of course. You can't see it, but they brought all kinds of equipment today. First of all, I want to thank you guys for the time and effort to come out and visit with us. I know it's a lot of work, and especially for a Sunday afternoon. Did you guys play last night?
No, we had a little practice.
Okay.
Yesterday. So.
Very cool. You guys sounded great and really enjoy the vibe. We've had Jessica here before. She's going to try not to speak, but that's not going to work on the interview. But you might remember her from Songbirds and Troubadours if you guys have been tuning into our songwriter feature. She's a hell of a songwriter. So the first song y'all are doing is Retrostasis. So Jess, tell us a little bit about this song.
I kind of make up like a playwright in my head, and just I see characters, and usually it's a really, really sad story. Yeah. So Retrostasis begins with a mother losing her child to a miscarriage, and it also talks about PTSD from someone who's a war vet. That's basically it. And the end, saying it's time to begin again, is kind of like, let's just start over and get back to point one. Yeah. So life, death, and maybe reincarnation or whatever you believe.
Or rebirth.
Rebirth.
Yeah.
Or just a new life coming back in.
Very cool.
So obviously we've all started doing heroin since we started playing the band.
Well,
it's the only way we can cope.
That's part of rock and roll anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
You have to contribute to the opiate tragedy or the opiate.
Yeah, we're doing our part.
Okay, there you go. Yeah,
that's
probably the tagline. Doing our part.
If our boss is watching, we're really not doing heroin.
Yeah, they're not much. But guys, it's Retrostasis. It's live right here in the ETX Rocks living room. Y'all, it's Miss Jane. Y'all check it out.
Rolling tide,
right, so we are back once again. It's episode 279, and you guys introduce yourselves and tell us what you bring to the band. We'll start right to left.
Clint Eccles, play guitar, play some keys, and eventually I'd venture into some other instruments whenever they let me.
Whenever they let me. I love that.
It's
He
the
just
truth.
does it when he wants to. We don't ask him to.
So someday you might end up playing the kazoo. Is that what you're saying?
If the song needs it, I will play a kick-ass kazoo in the song.
There's going to be a YouTube for that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And Jessica?
I'm Jessica Elise, and I don't know, I've been writing guitar songs since I was 11. They weren't good. And I don't know, these guys make them sound really good. I don't know what to say about myself.
And we have the drummer.
Greg McDonald. I'm the rookie of the bunch. New kid, just trying to learn all this stuff, new material, and having fun doing it.
Very cool. And
Brad Wilson, bass guitar, band leader, do all the arranging.
It gives me many suggestions on what to do, so it helps me out.
So I think the obvious first question is, I've known Jessica for a little while through other songwriters and stuff like that. And when you told me about this project and said the name of the band was Miss Jane, I've held off on asking you why Miss Jane.
Well, I can't hold your hand.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a product of discussing what the band name should be for a long time. And I guess originally her and I first got together a year ago, if not a little longer than a year ago. So the idea of a band name's been kicked around enough to where I think you get to the point to where when you run across something that you think might work, you just say, that's it.
Yeah.
Let's not discuss this anymore, because we've argued about band names for the last 10 months, so that sounds like that'll work, so that's what we go with.
Very cool. So it has no meaning at all, or it's not Miss Jess, it's Miss Jane.
Yeah, not necessarily. A lot of people would determine that Miss Jane would have some kind of marijuana inference, but it's really not. It's just something.
Yeah,
that
I didn't
came
think
up
it did, honestly.
Yeah, it's just something that came up that we all felt like would work. So instead of continuing having that empty spot where we couldn't decide on a band name, we just said, hey, let's go with Miss Jane.
So I know I've seen you in other projects around East Texas from time to time, Clint, and I've known Jess for a while from her songwriting, which is amazing. But I think your styles are a little bit different, because I've seen you in other bands where you're a lot heavier than what this is.
Yeah.
I calmed them down.
Yeah, kind of. I know you probably have a blues background too, don't you?
Yeah, I always, I guess my mother's side of the family, big blues lovers.
Yeah.
And I grew up listening to, Gatemouth Brown and Stevie Ray Vaughan and just other Buddy Guy, other blues artists. So that kind of never left. And really, I don't know if a lot of people realize it or not, but even when I was playing with Merciful Pete and other metal bands, there was a lot of blues influence on the leads that I was throwing down there.
Right.
So, it just whenever we ran across one another, and I saw it was an opportunity for me to do really the guitar style that I like to do more than anything else, I just kind of jumped on it.
Well, when I heard you were part of this project, my first thought was interesting.
Yeah, that's exactly what you said.
I think that's
That was
what
your
most people say if I'm
exact-
part of anything.
Yeah, but I know we said off camera very vibey. That's probably not a word, but what I mean by that is, it's got that like Amy Winehouse kind of flavor to
God,
it.
I've gotten that too many times.
You don't like that?
I don't dislike her.
Yeah.
I never listened to
Is there
her.
an influence there, or what is the influence for you?
The people that people say I sound like I never had listened to, and I'll go listen to them, and then there will be an influence from it immediately.
Okay.
But it doesn't come from them.
Awesome.
My favorite artist is Fiona Apple.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ani DeFranco, hands down, they're equal.
And I
Nice.
don't
They
feel
live
like
equally.
there's a single influence that shows when we play, because we all come from such different backgrounds, and I
And
think
that's the cool
I think-
thing about bands
Yeah.
in general.
And I want to say I can speak for everybody by saying that we all listen to different types of music. We're not just metal till we die, or country and nothing else, or hip hop or whatever. Everybody listens to a little something different.
Right.
And
I think that's where, my definition of the word vibey is. There's a lot of different things coming in, different pipes that come into this one big bowl, which is y'all's band. But the pipes are coming in with different influences, different genres, different styles.
Yeah.
And then whatever comes into that bowl is Miss Jane. It's
That's
completely
my favorite.
unique to y'all.
That's
Yeah.
my favorite thing about this band.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, and we've discussed it before, whether it be all of us together or just a couple of us at the same time. We feel pretty comfortable that you're not really going to go hear anything that sounds quite like what we're doing.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think that's important from an identity standpoint as a band, as creative people. Are all four of you creative? Are you bringing your own parts to the table?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah.
So how does that work for you as the songwriter? I know that most of
Dude,
these songs are yours.
I feel like whenever I'm writing a song, I'm like, all right, I'm real basic. I'm just rhythm, guitar, and lyrics.
Yeah.
So when I'm writing, I'm also thinking whether I had this band or not. I'm thinking what they're gonna bring to it, so I don't have to do that. Like I'd rather someone else bring their taste into it, so I don't want to touch that area. I don't want to put in,
Right.
the solo.
How much
or
compromise
anything
is there from you as far as, you hear maybe a drum part or a bass or whatever?
I'm interested to hear this too.
Not much.
No, she does good. I mean, originally when we were the first two to meet and kind of sit down, and I was listening to some of her material, and the original idea was that just I was going to record or help her record,
My
her
stuff.
original
And
material.
he was going to play everything on
And-
the recording.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing the drum track and the bass track.
Because he can play anything, y'all, like literally anything.
Well, play at it. But it didn't take long to realize that there was a lot going on there, and there was a lot that could be contributed to it. And you probably remember, us sitting down talking about it and saying, hey, how much outside influence do you want? And she was like, yeah,
Everything.
I mean, everything, whatever you guys can add to make this doable. So really, our original idea of just recording her tracks with me doing, the other backing tracks, I think we only got like 2.5 tracks in before we said, hey, let's start calling other musicians and bringing them in and doing this. And
Then we found that guy.
Yeah, we couple bass players and a couple drummers, but
We found this guitar player and we made him play bass.
Yeah, he's not saying much over there.
He's the only one in the band with a Craigslist ad for a bass player, just so you know. Everybody else is happy with him as bass. He's got the Craigslist ad looking
I'll
for
say
a
it.
bass.
If you can play fretless bass like this man down here on the end, please
Then
hit
please.
us up.
Yeah. So I guess a good question is, when you're starting a new project, a new band, from the ground up, which is basically what this was. I mean, there was a lot of foundation with her songwriting and your musicianship and all of that. But I mean, when you're combining all of these different, ingredients, let's say, into this band, how difficult is it for you guys to get it off the ground from a rehearsal standpoint to getting it to a stage?
We really haven't had enough time yet with consistent band members. Greg's new. He's only been in the band, a couple months now. Mm-hmm. And then our original bass player moved, and Brad came in. So really, it's all still, I think, pretty new for all of us.
As far as collaborating together, we haven't really gotten to taste that yet. So
Okay.
That's coming, though.
That's coming
It's coming.
with this next year.
Cool.
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, how religiously are you guys booking now? Are you guys actively seeking bookings?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we played our first show last month.
Right.
And we had that in mind, and then we had this in mind, and vacations in between here and there. But I think we're to the point now to where it's time to start knocking on doors and calling.
How much benefit is it to you guys as artists to have that foundation in place, meaning the songwriting? I mean, the songs are there. You have the songs.
That's definitely a plus.
Because that's typically how a band will work.
It made
You'll-
it faster.
Yeah.
It made it work a lot
Yeah,
faster.
I mean,
Right.
almost every other project I've ever been in, other than like cover band projects, you're starting from the ground up, and really, you book your first show before everything's solid.
Yeah.
So, like a band I was in for 10 years, Merciful Pete, love those guys. When we started out, we were still in the process of writing songs when we were playing them on stage.
Right.
So
And see, I've seen that kind of evolution process happen for a band too. So I was curious how that
I
worked
don't
for
like
y'all.
that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
No.
But I mean, from a standpoint of just a creative standpoint, it's got to be hugely beneficial to y'all as artists to have that foundation, because now you have the songs, you just have to fine tune them and get them ready for stage. You don't have to write them. You don't have to become a band, then find the chemistry, then find the songs and all of that. The songs are there. So you just have to build on the chemistry, I would imagine, right?
yeah, I mean, you know, the difference is when you go play in this setting with this band, everybody already knows that we have the potential to go kick ass.
Yeah,
That's not the question.
right.
And so, yeah, sure, we still get nervous. You know, we still worry about whether or not we're going to remember this part or remember that part. But it takes away from all the variables exponentially when you have that time to have all these songs down before you go play them in front of people.
Right.
So,
And you
yeah,
guys
it's
are
a big
also a
plus.
very unique band in the aspect of, look, there's nobody like y'all in East Texas that I know of. So when a venue, when you approach a venue,
That's
the first question they're going to say is, well, what do y'all play?
Yeah.
So
Very
how do you
curious
answer
how
that
they're
question?
Or what do you sound like?
Yeah.
Link them to ETX ROCKS.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dot show.
That's my answer.
And look up Miss Jane, episode 279.
Yes.
Right.
That's what they sound like.
That's what we're here.
But like, if someone were to say, so what genre do y'all play? What's the answer? I'm curious.
Blues Americana.
Wow, really?
Would you say Americana?
I wouldn't.
I don't
guess.
really know what that
I wouldn't even know
covers.
what the hell to call it, Dan. I'll be honest.
I never
Well,
know.
that's why I just said Blues Americana,
My
because it's so
answer-
vague. It's not
My
nailing me
answer
down
is
to
the
something.
kind that you need to listen to.
That's a long genre name.
Well,
I don't think that'll fit for like iTunes charts, you know.
Just
Like,
something you need
it's
to
not
check
something
out.
you can-
yeah.
Hashtag
That's the Texas
kind
version of what
people.
Jessica said. It's some you want to listen to. Y'all want to check this out. So, Greg, you just came onto the project. So, what were you doing before you became their drummer?
Mainly playing at church.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all. But you're a very good drummer.
Thank you.
Yeah. And, you know, I know Jessica's kind of picky,
very.
very picky.
Mhm.
She never once looked back at you. So I was like, man, that's a good thing.
That's how I know when I'm doing good. Or
Yeah.
if she looks back at me and gives me a smile on her face or
Yeah.
something, I'm doing good.
Well, the smile could mean two things, though.
It can mean two
You know, like either you're doing really good or watch your tires before you leave.
Yeah. But I've come to figure out how I can read her because I can really tell. I mean, if I'm doing good, she'll let me know.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Well, that's good, too. Yeah, you have to let that know. Let that know. You have to
Let,
let them
let
know.
that be known.
Well, see, that's
Yeah.
something that they told me when I come in. They said, you know, we want you. These are our songs, and what you know, there are songs now, and they want me to put what I feel into the song, and then that's why if I'm putting something in there, I always ask them, you know, is that about
And
what you want?
I definitely got that in watching you play today. You know, they played 4 songs total. You guys will get to hear 3 of them on this show. And then there was a sneak peek as well. But I picked 2 of those songs. I was just watching you. I don't even know if you noticed, but I'll do that. I'll just watch one musician because I'm going to be interviewing all of y'all, so I
Yeah.
want to see the parts. I have to talk about the bass part in, I think it was Retrostasis. Or,
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one you. Yeah.
Yep. Retrostasis.
Yep.
You know, you guys heard it a little bit earlier in the show. Where'd that come from? You had to have written that in, right?
That came from, we were recording that song a few months ago, and it was just Clint and I on his computer. We had the foundation of the song, and I was laying down my part over it, and we did just a couple of takes. We were just like, oh, I should do something at the end, so I did like, I don't know, 4 or 5 takes where I just did random stuff, and
That
I
was
just
the
did this one. He was like, that one, figure out what you played there, and do exactly that.
Blew my mind, dude.
Every
Absolutely
time.
blew
I'm,
my
I'm
mind.
standing in the jam room by the computer going, no, the one you went, you know, so
You had my head on a swivel. You know, you guys don't get to
Oh,
hear
yeah.
my reaction to that off camera, but I was so confused because he's sitting at the keyboard, and the song before that, you were playing lead guitar, and that sounded like a damn lead guitar. So I was like,
Where's that?
where is that coming from? And then you were over here on the left jamming. I was like, that's not the bass, is it? It is. Oh my God. And so, yeah, you blew my mind, man. That was incredible.
Thanks.
So more of that For sure.
Absolutely.
Yes, more of that.
I do way more of that in practice. I love it.
So I know you have a pretty good, pipeline of songs, so to speak. Are you guys writing as a collective yet?
We're creeping up on it.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
I'm trying to write like I used to write just for my acoustic shows, but they're always in the back of my mind, so there's so much left wide open that I'm not really touching, I think, what I want,
Mhm.
I want them there.
Right.
And
Meaning these guys.
Yeah. Not the other personalities in the back of my head, but
We left them out on the porch. They're smoking out there right now.
no, I kind of want them there.
Yeah.
Like I want to just write a little bit
Right.
and not finish a whole song.
Yeah.
Because I want them to say, okay, now go to this chord,
Okay.
Instead
Yeah,
of
that's
just being
surprising
like-
to me because I know how important your songs are to you. Just based on the first show we did with you, I know how important those songs are to you. So it's got to be difficult for you to kind of give up some of that control and bring other people into the situation.
It's actually a little bit like relieving.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome to hear.
A little bit of weight off of my shoulders.
Cool. Do you think that's just you growing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome. So Miss Jane is here in the ETX Rocks living room for the first time. Won't be the last because I believe you guys are going to blow up in this area just based on your uniqueness and your diversity. Let's be honest. I mean, you guys are all over the place musically, stylistically. If that's a word, I hope it is. If it is,
It is now.
Just comment down below if it is. But
Add that to Vibey.
yeah, Vibey. That's going to be a new thing. I'm going to hashtag that thing, and it's going to blow up. It's going to blow up like something that blows up. But as a unique band, do you guys think it'll be difficult to find work in East Texas, or do you think you'll have to go outside of 903?
We're going to go outside of 903 just because we want to.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think so. I don't think it'll be difficult.
I don't think so either. I think, like you say, when venue owners or club owners ask, well, what do you sound like? I think it's a difficult question for us to answer because it doesn't sound like anything else
No,
that you're going to
it
hear.
doesn't.
But at the same time, I think I speak for everybody saying that we're confident enough that once a venue or a club owner hears us for the first time, it's not going to be a problem. And I don't want to sound like we're badass and all that, but having played in bands, country bands, metal bands, cover bands for the last 20 years in this area, sometimes that breath of fresh air goes a long way.
Absolutely.
And it resonates even farther and longer with word of mouth when somebody comes and hears you.
That's what I was going to say. Word of mouth, there's been a lot of it. Just people asking
Well, that's how we heard of you.
when are you going to play at so-and-so? And I'm like, whenever they book us.
And the thing is, too, I mean, you guys are kind of bringing the experience back, too, because what I mean by that is, for me as a fan, I want to experience music when I go somewhere. I don't want to just be part of a crowd.
Same thing.
Yeah, I don't want to just be part of a jukebox or listening to a jukebox with instruments, I'm sure you guys probably play cover music as well, right?
We really don't.
No,
Really?
not really. I mean, we have a
Awesome.
We have a lot of...
we have a Dire Straits song that we kicked around doing,
And we might do that.
and we might do it, but no, it's really not something.
Not a focus.
Awesome.
Not a focus at all.
I love to hear that. But what I mean about the experience, though, is for me, I want to hear lyrics. I want to be able to feel lyrics. I want to be able to feel the music. And a lot of times you go to a club or, a dance hall, wherever you go to listen to music, and that's lost a lot of the time. I mean, lot of the time, even with original music. With you guys, you feel every note. All of it. And you add the notes to the lyrics, which are so profound. You know how I feel about your lyrics just from the first time you were here. Just the whole experience is kick ass. And I love that you guys are bringing that back.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, and having aforementioned Dire Straits, one of the best interviews I ever read was a music critic that saw Dire Straits way back in the day, and it always stuck with me because he said when he saw them, they didn't show up to jam, they showed up with a message, and everybody in the band contributed to the message. It was all a vehicle for the message, and not everybody just showing up. Oh, here's a spot for me to play guitar lead. or here's a
Right.
spot for me to do this. You
Yeah.
know? I think that's one of the biggest things, and what sets us apart from a lot of bands is that we're not, and you guys are going to laugh at me about this because you know how I like to play guitar leads, but we're not always just trying to pinpoint that one spot where an individual can shine.
Yeah.
We're trying to make the.
Well, one thing I've also noticed about y'all.
We're trying to make it
a collective
as a whole.
thing. Yeah. But one thing I did notice about y'all too, from watching y'all play today, structure is not that important to you musically, and I think that is awesome. You know, a lot of times you'll have a songwriter that comes in and it's verse, chorus, bridge, chorus.
That's all me. Like,
You know, I mean,
I
that
do
lack of
weird- I do
structure
weird
is awesome.
structures.
Huh?
I do weird structures.
No, that's a good thing. That's an amazing thing. There's so many songwriters out there that throw structure out the window, and it's
it drives me nuts.
it's just an amazing
monotonous.
experience.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot of songwriters like that in East Texas, and that's why I love living here, because I love a songwriter that will. I mean, basically, you're putting on paper what you're feeling. And structure shouldn't matter if you're feeling something. That's just the way I feel about it. And so if you want to convey that emotion that you're feeling when you write the song, you try to fit that into a structure. You're not going to connect it in the same way with your audience that you would if you just said, you know what,
Exactly.
forget about that structure.
This is where this solo
Yeah.
goes.
And I love the fact that these guys come in and understand that. And I can see that musically that they do.
Man.
You know?
They do.
So why is that? Who wants to pick that up?
Why do we?
Why do you, how do you guys know that the structure doesn't have to be here? Because I know you guys are all probably veteran musicians.
Well, like earlier when you said Jessica can be picky, and like we just laughed about, I love a good guitar lead. And if you'll give me 30 bars, I'm going to play a guitar lead for 30 bars. But when it gets to the point to where it's not what she envisioned when she wrote the song, she will let you know.
Yes,
That's
you
good
will.
though.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times she's turned and looked at me and she's like, you don't need another 6-minute guitar lead right here. We're just going in between the first one.
Yeah,
So you don't need one here.
Yeah, it's like, Clint, this is not the Sunday Night Blues jam.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's,
You know what?
It's
though?
an understanding.
Coming from how he loves to play his guitar leads, he has not. There's a song we have where there is no guitar solo, and I'm like, I can't believe Clint let me play this song.
Yeah.
He lets us play this song
And it
with no
kills me.
guitar lead. And I love it. I think about that every time we play that song.
Awesome.
I can't believe it.
it's a general understanding.
He's
I think everybody, that's the good thing about it. You know, musically, we're not always on the same page when it comes to what we think that we
And you
need to
never
do
will
and-
be either.
Exactly, but
And you
I
shouldn't
think
be.
Right.
when it comes to musically, you know, musically writing things and trying to place things in the right place, we're all just the closest as we can be to being on the same page.
Yeah.
I mean, the next level of being any better at composing songs together or putting songs together than we are would be, you know, people that you see on TV or
Right.
read about, you know, and you know, people that
Greg,
you
you
look
had
up
something
to.
to add?
So.
I think that's what makes this so fun for me. This experience here being in Miss Jane is because everything's original. It's all her original stuff,
Yeah.
you know, and we're going to work from that. And then, like you was talking about all the different pieces and stuff, you know, a lot of times I'll be playing something and then they'll say, well, we want something here, you know, something on the drums, something funky, or it's just something here. And I say, Clint, come over here, get behind the drum kit and play just for a minute and just give me an example of something, you know. So, you know, it's awesome to have a guy like that you know can play the drums. And I
It's
say,
like a Swiss Army knife.
why in the world are you not playing the drums, Clint?
And
Because I like to
Don't
play
tell
the
him
guitar.
that.
And vice versa, it's awesome to have a drummer that is open to suggestion like that, you know.
So we're sitting here, it's episode 279 with Miss Jane, first time on the show. You guys are going to play another song for us. It's called Blue and Black Spin. So Jessica, tell us about this one.
Oh wow, Blue and Black Spin. That song is about finding out that my father passed away 3 years before I actually found out. But the day that I found out. And I wrote that song, I think, 8 years after that day. And it's about how Jessica felt that day. she. I refer to she.
Yeah.
And it says, torture, less torture. The fruit of my father insists reaching back to the dead. So you can get, what you want from that. That's what that song's about.
It's so cool hearing these songs full band, full sound, after hearing quite a few of them as an acoustic solo on the first show. And you guys definitely check out both shows because you'll see a different side to the music for sure. But we're excited to show you this song. It's live here in the ETX Rocks living room. It's Blue and Black Spin from Miss Jane.
To the window, she was blue. She was fading a life harbored in her own head. Pacing through the gallows, misfortune forsaken. I vow to put it back in command. Just like that, beat slipped back, drawing all the candlelight on, right outside of my skin. I'll leave you right back, competent. Travel to the earth, I got the short fuse, I just can't put out. Back at the end, this is no return. The medical roots, the blue and black spell. Gathered you to suit her dark skin. Bottom of the surface, cradled Cain, cradled Abel, the feet of our silent command. Torture, less torture, the fruit of my father insists, reaching back to the dead. I want out of my head and back into the room, faded, faded.
All right, so we are back once again. We're sitting with Miss Jane, first time on the show. It's episode 279, and I definitely want to thank you guys for hanging out with us today. I know it's a lot of time and effort to bring all that stuff in, play songs to no audience. I know it's hard, so
Y'all are
we
an
definitely
audience.
appreciate it.
Y'all
for
are
having us.
awesome.
No,
That's
well, I
my
appreciate
favorite
that.
thing to do.
And so, if folks are hearing about Miss Jane for the first time, where would you send them to follow along with y'all on social media?
Miss Facebook, Miss Jane, and
It's Miss Jane 2018 2018.
And that's Facebook?
2018.
No
Yes.
Instagram yet?
No Instagram yet. It's
gonna
coming.
happen though,
I think
right?
so. I think I'm gonna make one.
Awesome.
Soon. Yeah.
So Facebook is the place to go for Miss Jane for now. These guys are brand new. They're just getting their feet wet in East Texas. All of them have done their own work individually throughout the years here in East Texas musically. So big things in store for these guys. I know it. I feel it in my bones. I've known Jessica for a while. The music is pure. It's incredible. It's lyrical. It's relevant. And it's hard to find music like that in the 21st century. So I hope you guys will follow along with everything they have going on. Again, it's Miss Jane 2018 on Facebook. And of course, we'll have all 4 or at least 3 of their songs will come out individually after this episode airs on our YouTube channel as well. So make sure you're checking those out. Of course, we also have the ETX Rocks webpage where their songs will be part of our internet radio playlist on there too. Hopefully by the end of the day today they'll be on there. So you guys can check that out just by going to etxrocks.show and checking that out. You'll also see you'll have access to another 11,000 hours worth of content on there. So if you're a music fan and you don't know about the webpage yet, make sure you check that out. If you're just hearing about us for the first time, you can follow along with everything we have going on. We are located at ETX Rocks on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, although our Twitter's a ghost town. I think we're filming a Western there next month. Could be.
you need a band.
Do you need a band?
We're raising money for Clint Eastwood, and if we get him, he'll probably have his own band. I don't know. Clint's kind of a stickler on stuff like that.
Is he? What a.
I'll give him.
I know
Clint
a Clint.
Eastwood,
I know
not
a Clint.
Clint
I know a
Eccles.
Clint like that.
Well, everybody that.
If we can't afford him, we'll just change your name to Westwood or something like that. Saying starring Clint Westwood.
Fair enough.
It'll work,
I'll
right?
get me a little cigarrillo and
Yeah.
Poncho.
Or we'll get you a Mark 10.
a really
Yeah.
raspy voice.
Yeah. Gran Torino. We'll call it. Well, no, we won't. I'll pull that out. That was going to be a really bad joke. I'm filtering myself a lot better. My data bank is overflowing. That's where I keep my dad jokes. Come on, Greg. Stay with me, man. Oh, man. We are also completely self-funded on the ETX Rock Show, so we are low budget, and I emphasize the word low. We're sitting in a double-wide trailer with Walmart lamp trees for our lighting. We call that professional lighting. So that means you guys can help us out financially if you'd like to. We've set up a donate link. You can find that at www.paypal.me/ETXRocks, and we'll take all brands of money except Robert De Niro. We were taking that, but the producer said we have enough of him, so. Or it, not him. Yeah.
Him too.
We are running low on lira, so you Italians out there, hook a brother up. No lira. And as we always say on the ETX Rock Show, we want to thank you guys out there for always supporting live music of all genres and all styles. And don't ever forget,
ETX rocks!
From the unknown to the stars, from the couch to the car, from the unheralded and the unheard, to the legends and beyond, it's where we all belong. Yes, this is where it all starts. From every genre, from every plane, this is where the music's played. So tune right in, won't you bring a friend? This is where it all begins. Welcome to the show, let the music flow of every style and creed. And you can bet your socks that ETX